I'm Ailene. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm currently studying data science, and I completed the data analyst and Power BI pathways through CodeU.
Hi, I'm Jon. I'm currently pursuing the software development path, doing C# programming.
Right now, I'm in a bit of a transition point with my work because my family and I just relocated from Kentucky to the island of Kauai. But right now, I'm just doing some contract data analyst work for a small local startup in Louisville called Vividus Labs, and then their nonprofit arm, Technique. And then aside from that, also picking up a little bit of work for a small hospitality group, like helping them with their website development, that kind of thing.
So I heard about CodeU when I was doing my previous job as a database administrator. I had a colleague who was in the program, and I had mentioned wanting to develop my fundamentals a little more. So that colleague mentioned CodeU, and I applied, and then about a year and a half later, they contacted me, and I signed up.
I actually knew someone who completed a CodeU pathway way back when you first started. Gosh, it would have been over 10 years ago now. I think she started with the web development. She may have done software development too after that. And so I always knew that it existed for a long time. And when I decided to make a change in my career and return to school, I really just sought out any kind of educational programs that could supplement that and help me get the skills and tools I need immediately to start working. And so it was really a pretty immediate Google search pop-up where CodeU came up, and it reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, that's that program. It's well established. And so yeah, I just signed up right away from that.
The original draw to tech for me was video gaming. That's what I went to school for initially. But when I hit the real world, I worked at a couple different companies, and big aspect for me was working with Excel sheets, doing just different basic little programs on that using the VBA tool that they have, and learning that with technology you can make the lives of other people easier. That was really engaging for me, especially taking away jobs that no one else wanted to do or that were really boring. With the Excel sheets, you were able to kind of optimize that and really knock out some stuff really efficiently. And yeah, the idea of doing that on a bigger scale using actual programming is really exciting to me.
What drew me to data science or data analytics was just the problem solving component. I really like to solve puzzles. I like to think about things from different angles and have creative problem solving. That's something I've always loved to do. I also really love math, and I enjoy coding. These are things that are fun for me. I could sit and code on a computer for 8 hours straight, and that doesn't exhaust me. It actually makes me feel good. The time just goes by, right? So when I decided to change careers, that just seemed like a natural choice, especially because within the realm of data science, it's just this vastly and rapidly growing field. With artificial intelligence and machine learning, there's just so many opportunities, and some of the coolest cutting edge stuff falls under that umbrella.
So I've got really two big drives for me. Like I said, the good side of automation is amazing. Being able to eliminate jobs that people hate, that's really engaging to me. That's a fun puzzle for me to solve. And I really do like that aspect of programming. But this would be further in the future. But I'm a big advocate for education. I think education is what frees us more than anything. And the idea of, once I'm experienced enough, being able to create games through programming that can teach people all sorts of different subjects and stuff like that, that would be awesome. That's actually, when I was in school, that was something that I struggled with because I had attention issues, and I was lagging behind in early elementary school. My parents found a bunch of video games back in the day. There was an Aladdin one and stuff, and I played that through summer, and the teachers basically said if I don't catch up, I'm getting held behind. And that actually accelerated most stuff to where it needed to be. In math, I actually went to a 6th grade level when I was in 3rd grade. I think games can really open pathways for people who do not think they are capable of doing something, mainly because that thing is boring. And if you can make it not boring, there are so many people who are actually more competent than you would give them credit for, I guess. It sucks to say this, but it's actually like, at least for smaller companies or mid-sized companies, it's quicker and easier to write a program that can actually change people's lives and do cool stuff right now, and that's really engaging still. And games are like a background passion for me at the moment, because to make anything substantive takes effort, and it takes a lot of knowledge. And I guess that's where I'm at right now, is I don't feel like I have the knowledge base to quickly iterate on games. So I haven't done anything major with like Unity, but I've done like little test games here or there. I write a lot of notes on different game ideas that I would like to do one day, but yeah.
Well, first, just directly, the contract data analyst work that I've gotten solely because of my participation in the Empower Up program. Like, I would not have gotten it otherwise. They sought out graduates of that program, and all of the experiences directly related. For example, right now, we're working with a lot more of the qualitative data and focusing on storytelling, and I'm building dashboards in Google Looker Studio for several organizations right now, and that's kind of what I've just completed doing, like constructing some data input forms for them to use, and then building appealing dashboards. So that's been really great. Even though I don't have anything to show right now professionally from that pathway, that doesn't mean to say that other people won't either.
To start, I went to ITT Tech, and as is now known, that school kind of ripped a lot of people off and did not educate them in the way that they promised. And after spending 4 years getting an education, learning that wasn't useful, that ended up moving me into a kind of lateral role into the telecom industry, and I was there for about 7 years. While I was at that company, I was doing like database administration, but I also had made some programs on the back end to make some of that database administration cleaner, quicker, and more efficient. And when I left, they locked down everything that I had made, and I wasn't able to take anything for a portfolio. And I learned that my fundamentals were really lacking. My prior experience was factory work, so I dove back into that. The market was really pretty tough. I applied to some programming stuff, and it just didn't work out. And did factory work for a while, then I heard about Code U. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity if you have the motivation to do it. You have the self-discipline to commit the hours. You can learn so much, and it can ideally change your life.
The first pathway I completed through Code U was the data analyst pathway. So that focused with Python programming language. We learned SQL, and we touched a little bit with Tableau and talked about just sort of basic data visualization. That was a really great pathway. I loved my mentors. I learned so much from them. I got a lot out of it, and ended up completing a project that I was pretty proud of, that I was able to put on my resume, still on my GitHub account. And then I was able to present for the Code U demo day, which was nice, so I could kind of share it with some more people. The experience was so great, I chose to sign up to mentor afterwards, and then became a mentor for that same pathway on that next round, which was great because it let me just kind of solidify those things I had just learned, and then help new people coming in, and then we could all just keep learning and growing together. And then, although it's not still a part of Code U, there was another program that existed called Empower Up, which focused on business intelligence and Power BI. That was an in-person course, and I really enjoyed that because I learned so much more about data visualization best practices and dashboard creation, and then strengthened my Power BI skills.
Code U is pretty cool though, because it teaches you what the industry expects. Initially starting you with Git environments, GitHub, stuff like that is really big, because that's how the industry functions now. You don't just write a program and accidentally break something, then it's gone forever. You have these recursive like duplicates and stuff that make experimentation really safe. And that was actually something I was missing from my learning on my own. And then in terms of the software development stuff, it covers a lot of material that is really good. It has, currently we use Pluralsight, but that's industry professionals talking about fundamentals and using some pretty decent real world situations where you might be using this, programming problem.
Any opportunities that I've had, I've gotten because I'm tried to make personal connections with both the fellow students and the mentors. And the more you know people, the more you learn about them, about what they do, the more they keep you in mind for opportunities that might come up. It's just a really valuable, I think outside of, the content, which is of course important, like the educational content of CodeU is great. But in my opinion, the most valuable thing are the networking opportunities and the people that you meet. Because that's not something that you can just do on your own in your spare time from the internet. Like, that's invaluable, is like finding those connections with other people. And that's why I signed up. Because honestly, I could have learned everything that we learned in this pathway on my own. I don't know that I would have had the motivation to complete my capstone project in quite the right timeline. Like, that was definitely like that motivating push to finish big projects. But ultimately, I know for a fact I would not have met all of these people that I've met, the other students and mentors.
CodeU is an opportunity for people if they take it, but it's not like easy. You're not going to get this handed to you. It does require self-discipline. And I just want to emphasize that if you can make it through this course, you really are at like a really solid starting point in the world of programming from everything that I've gathered. And within CodeU, I do keep an eye on that job board that when you graduate, you have access to. And, the people of CodeU, now that you've proven yourself, will back you when you apply to these jobs. Yeah, it seems to be a really phenomenal opportunity to break people out of where they're at. And I just wanted to make sure to emphasize that as much as possible.
I would really encourage, if you've completed a pathway, I would encourage you to not just take that and leave, but to stay in the community, whether it's to take another pathway. I think signing up to be a mentor, student mentor, is a really good idea because it helps you solidify what you've learned, and like teaching other people is the best way to know that you know something. And then just to like keep an eye on the Slack and like use that resource because it's so easy to just like complete something and get the certificate and be like, yep, I'm good. And then just kind of not be in the habit of being on that system anymore. And I think that's giving up one of the most valuable things that CodeU gives you, which is networking and connections with other people. So I would say just think of it as that lifetime benefit of being in the community and meeting the people, and then consider other ways that you can get involved so you can keep learning and growing. Just keep learning as much as you can. And I think that if you had that extra time that I don't have, though, you could build more projects, and that might be exciting for you. And then maybe find a way to do something that matters to you personally. Like if someone is struggling to stay motivated because they're not getting hired for a job, find a reason to know these skills and use these skills that is outside of being paid for it. Like if there's an app that would benefit you or your friends in your life, build that. Just make something that's cool for you. There's not a really great like coffee bean sourcing app where you can look for a type of coffee bean like from a particular region or flavor profile or processing style, and then find which smaller roasteries across the country offer that. If you have something that's maybe like meaningful or can make a difference to people, that could keep you going, and then ultimately it builds your skills, it builds your portfolio, and it keeps you motivated, and it will help you find a job later to get paid. If you're struggling to stay motivated because you're getting ghosted by all these employers, you need to find a reason that you're doing what you're doing or to build these projects that is outside of just to get a job. It's true that because it's like if you're just doing it to get a job, you're going to quit, because like there's a lot of other jobs that pay you money right now, and you can only go so long, and you're probably going to have to work one of those other jobs while you're doing this, and ultimately like you're going to get tired and just give up. Like you have to have a reason to do it outside of getting a job. The thing is too, like if you don't like it enough that you can't find something interesting for yourself, well, you probably shouldn't do it. Find something else. It's such a crazy competitive field. There's so many things that you can do. Like there's something out there for everyone that's gonna like ignite a passion. If you can't find any personal projects that are exciting or interesting to you within this realm of whatever your pathway is, like it's probably not the pathway for you.
For anyone who's considering software development, the hardest part you will struggle with is in software development. In contrast to every other job you will do, failure is expected and a part of the process. If you cannot figure something out, that's fine, because you're expected to solve problems. And for a lot of people, I think that's really hard, especially coming from every other industry where if you mess up, that is a written notice, or that is a mark on your character, or whatever they decide to throw at you. You are not supposed to fail. In software development, and that is the biggest struggle, I think, I know I dealt with, and I know a lot of other students deal with, is it's such a hard mindset to break that if you don't understand something, that's fine. That just means you do research. Every single person can do research. You just have to learn that skill, and that's not taught to people. I think it's useful not only in software development, but everywhere. If you can learn how to solve problems and be okay with and not beat yourself up over not knowing how to immediately solve a thing right now at this very instant, that'll go really far wherever you go and whatever you do. So
if you're thinking about signing up, just do it. What are you going to lose? It's free. You lose some of your time. I mean, if you decide that you don't like it, then you know, right? But if you're even considering it at all, there's really only something to gain and there is nothing to lose, but just a little bit of your time that maybe you would just be spending watching TV or reading or playing video games. I mean, just try something new. Even if you decide not to pursue a new career in that field, not only will you learn a new skill that might be fun for you, but as I mentioned before, like, you're going to meet so many great people and have so many great networking opportunities that are valid not just within the tech industry, but everywhere.